next speaker is Dr. Farina Kulsum.
Good morning, everyone. My topic for presentation is extraocular muscle pyomyositis, clinical pearls for diagnosis and management. I am Dr. Farina Kulsum, Fellow of Oculoplasty at Sadhguru Neti Chikitsalaya. Coming to introduction, development of an intramuscular abscess involving the extraocular muscle remains an extremely rare process, commonly caused by Staphylococcus aureus. I'm going to present 6 cases. My first case is a 19-year-old male presented with these clinical features since 20 days. Vision was 636 with proptosis and other signs of inflammation, but no RAPD. There was optic disc edema. B-scan showed a cystic cavity in inferior rectus muscle. On T1 weighted MRI, there was a rim enhancing lesion in inferior rectus muscle suggestive of abscess. So under the antibiotic coverage, aspiration of pus was done. Next day, there was improvement in the clinical condition, but surprisingly, there were 2 discrete exudative lesions on fundus suggestive of endophthalmitis. Which was managed by retina department, and patient showed improvement and he was discharged. On follow-up, vision improved to 6/6 with only mild restriction in upgaze, resolution of optic disc edema on fundus and decrease in abscess size on V-scan, resolution of exudates on OCT, and after 3 months, there was full ocular movements with 6/6 vision. So the key point is, pyomyositis can have a rare complication of endophthalmitis. Coming to my second case, which is a 32-year-old male presented with clinical features and examination similar to the previous one, as we can see from the clinical pictures since 5 days. In the left eye, there is restriction of movements and signs of inflammation. On CT, there was a heterogeneously ill-defined lesion involving the inferior rectus muscle, suggestive of myositis. Based on the clinical picture and imaging finding, we made the diagnosis of inferior rectus pyomyositis, and we started the treatment, but vision dropped on the next day, so the drainage and the mild debridement of the abscess was done. Patient showed improvement, but he was lost to follow-up. However, after 1 year, he sent images which showed completely normal clinical recovery. So if there is not a well-defined abscess on imaging, but pus point is present on the fornix, it can give us the clue of diagnosis. My third case is a 50-year-old male, diabetic male presented with a history of STI and these clinical features since 3 days. We can see from the presentation, it was from the picture, the presentation was very severe from the last 2 cases. Vision was hand movement with RAPD and increase in IOP. On CT, there was a heterogeneous lesion involving the lateral rectus muscle with stretch optic neuropathy. We started the antibiotic, but vision dropped to no PL in the next few hours, so the urgent lateral canthotomy and the drainage was done. Patient was shifted to IV Vanco. According to the culture report, there was improvement in clinical condition. After 3 months, vision improved to 360 with no limitation of movement. However, there was persistence of RAPD and optic disc pallor. So in any infection in immunocompromised patient should be dealt aggressively, as it can lead to irreversible vision loss. Proptosis and pyomyositis can lead to stretch optic neuropathy without intracorneal involvement too. Fourth case is a 4-year-old child with the most severe presentation. On examination, there was severe inflammatory signs in left eye. On CT, there was a large soft tissue density lesion in medial rectus with hypodensity in center with minimal enhancement. Treatment was started while we waited for GA fitness. On day 3, incision and drainage was done, and there was a gradual improvement in clinical condition. Patient was discharged. On 2 years follow-up, patient was completely fine. So the key point is, case with this severe presentation can have a rapid and good prognosis with drainage of pus under antibiotic coverage. Fifth case is an interesting case who presented very atypically with deviation of eye, blur, and double vision in 7 days. There was a history of high-grade fever. We can see relatively quiet eye in the pictures. There is ESO-deviation, ocular movement restriction, and RAPD. On retinal examination, incidentally, there was CSR. We can see a cystic cavity on B-scan nasal quadrant. On MRI, typical findings are suggestive of abscess. We started the treatment, but vision dropped, so aspiration the pus was done, and patient was shifted to linezolid according to CS. Patient showed improvement and was discharged, but unfortunately, there was worsening on follow-up. Therefore, oral steroids were stopped, and patient was kept in close follow-up. There was complete clinical recovery on 2 months follow-up, with resolution of SRF and abscess, as we can see from the B-scan. So pyomyositis can present as white eye too. Association of CSR is an atypical finding. Coming to the 6th case, which was learning for us, 11-year-old male presented with drooping, swelling, and fullness of upper lid since 5 days. On examination, we can see dystopia and restriction of extraocular movement. B-scan showed a cystic lesion, but on CT scan, cysticercosis granuloma was diagnosed, so we started the treatment for cysticercosis. But the patient showed worsening of symptoms and signs with new findings of RAPD, and there was increase in size of cyst on B-scan. So urgent anterior orbitotomy with drainage was done. Patient showed improvement the very next day, and patient was discharged. After 3 months, there was complete resolution of signs and symptoms. So pyomyositis can be misdiagnosed with cysticercosis granuloma, so close suspicion is important. Only 14 isolated
Yeah.
cases has
Ma'am,
been
you'll
reported in
have
the
to
literature.
conclude. You have to conclude. Yeah.
In conclusion, pyomyositis of extraocular muscle should be considered in any patient presenting with acute onset of orbital inflammation characteristic CT or MRI feature. Once the diagnosis is confirmed, incision and drainage or aspiration of the abscess coupled with antibiotics eradicate the infection. Prognosis to vision may depend on severity of infection, comorbidities, duration and disease. Thank you.
Pyomyositis leads to endophthalmitis. What do you think?
Sir, it can be because the proximity of infection. The abscess was just in the posterior, just in the retrobulbar space, and also it can be because of IND that dissemination of infection could have occurred.
Pardon me?
The-
Dissemination,
yeah, it was the
systemic
next
dissemination of the infection, is it?
local dissemination.
Okay. Because the sclera is intact. How can it penetrate the sclera and cause a intraocular?
We are just assuming that it may have.
Did you
can be because
have
of
any
the spread of-
patients with endophthalmitis in
No,
your
it
series?
was the first case, like I have reported also.
Okay. Thank you.